I just always felt confident that, I could set out on any task and I could accomplish that task.
Would you have wanted to change anything about your relationship with your parents?
I would probably want to change the fact that after I was grown, my parents decided to divorce. And so I would have probably liked to change that fact. When my dad retired from the military and started staying home, he did get another job with the city of San Antonio. But before he got that job, he just didn't know what to do. And I mean, it was like to the point that it made them decide that it was better that he move on and she stay where she is. And that's the one thing I think I would change, is I would want them to stay together.
And how old were you when they got divorced?
I think I was 23 or 24.
Okay.
I was pretty old. I mean, I was already out of high school, and I'd already had a job, and I already had a home of my own. I bought a mobile home, and so I already had my life kind of set. I mean, I was by myself. I wasn't married or anything, but I pretty much was already set that even when they divorced. But I still wanted them to stay together, and that just didn't work out. So that's probably what I'd want to change most.
Did you have a best friend growing up?
I did. Her name was Carol, and she was the piano player in my middle and high school choir class. And we just did everything together. And even today, we still connect either on Facebook or by telephone call. Through the years, we kind of lost contact, but then with Facebook, we reconnected, and we've met for lunch a few times and that kind of thing. So we are still friends. She sent me a picture the other day on Facebook of a little book that I gave her when we were in high school that said something about being friends forever, and I guess we are now, because we still are talking. So
that's cute. Were you a nervous, uptight, or worried child?
I wasn't nervous. I wasn't a nervous child at all. I don't think I was uptight. I mean, I don't even consider myself uptight now. So I don't think I was any of those. I don't feel like I was.
What were you most excited about when you were growing up and getting older?
Good question. I think I was most excited about traveling. I mean, as a family, we traveled, always by car. We never flew. I mean, I didn't probably fly on an airplane until I was well into my 20s, because we just always took the car. We had a dog, so the dog had to go, and so it was one of those things where we always took the car. And another thing that I remember about that traveling is we never stayed in a hotel. We always stayed in a motel. And it was always this thing alongside the road that was this little dumpy place, but it was always fun to stay in those. There was always stuff to do, and it was fun, but I was well into adult before it was a hotel. But we had fun at those little motels. You got to meet people too, and I think people went outside more then than they do now. Like there was a picnic area at one that I remember that everybody kind of came out and they were barbecuing, and it was more like a little get-together at this motel, but nobody knew anybody, but it was kind of a fun thing, and I remember doing that as a kid. But I do remember the traveling in the car. It was always fun. It was never like now where you complained about the traffic or you complained about whatever. You just got in the car and you went because it was what you did. And now, everybody gets in the car and everybody's complaining. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too whatever, and it just wasn't like that when I was growing up. Everybody just went and you had a good time.
Did you idolize anyone as a child?
Not really. I mean, I didn't really have like a teen heartthrob kind of thing, or about a movie star or a teen idol, that kind of thing. If I idolized anybody, it would probably be my grandmother, because she was just a person that was so much in my life. She died when I was in middle school, and it was just the most tragic thing that I think ever happened in my life. I felt like at the time, and it was just, if I idolized anybody, it was her. I mean, because she just did everything what I'm going to say was right. It just seemed like anything she did was the right thing to do, and I would hope that someday that's still the way I feel, because I really did miss her once she passed away. And so,
do you have any nervous habits?
no, not really. I used to bite my nails, but then I had artificial nails put on, and now I don't bite my nails anymore. So I guess I don't have any habits. I guess if I have, the only habit I can say I really have is I just love to eat, and I would probably eat 24/7 if I could, but I'd be the size of a balloon. But that's probably my worst habit, is eating really bad stuff, because that's the best stuff to eat.
Mine too. Did you favor one parent over another?
I think I probably favored my mother over my dad, and only because I was kind of really I felt like my mother was kind of my best friend and sidekick, because we went everywhere together, because my dad wasn't home, and he was on TDY deployed. So it just made it a little bit more like it was just her and I most of the time. And even when he came home, I mean, I did not love him or anything like that, but I mean, I was just much closer to her, because we did so many things together, just she and I, because of him not being around all the time.
How would you describe your ego?
I would describe my ego as confident, because I think that, again, I feel like I can just do anything, and I really can't do anything, but I feel in my mind I can. And I just, I mean, it's just one of those things that I always feel like I can do whatever. I mean,
that stems from your mom and dad.
I think so, yeah, that confidence, yeah. And my grandmother too. I mean, she was very much a part of that too. That would be my mother's mother. So, and I think that's where my mom got it, which she passed it down to me. So it was just kept going.